some of that money will have went to savings, right? But so I had that foundation, and what I would recommend for other people is a lot of people operate with a hobby or a side hustle. We all have to use our 9 to 5 to turn our side hustle into a full-fledged business. But you definitely have to make sacrifices. So if you're going into a business, success does not happen overnight. And if you're looking for a shortcut, business might not be for you. Although I will pay for, a shortcut from experience from somebody that I know has done what they've done and been successful at it. I've had friends to tell me you're an expert at hiring experts. And I say that because I'm very knowledgeable about a lot of things, but I don't know everything. And if it's something that I'm unsure of, sorry about that. If it's something that I'm unsure of, then I would definitely pay someone else to help me get what I need. But you have to ultimately set your foundation and come out the gate doing things the right way. I wouldn't recommend just hustling and using your 9 to 5 to build that, and you're not really progressing on a business level. My undergrad is in business administration. I always knew that I wanted to not only, if I didn't manage my own business, I wanted to manage around somebody else, and I wanted to do that successfully. So my educational background and my hands-on experience background goes hand in hand, which has ultimately allowed me to build a successful business that I've been in for 16 years. So you have to make some sacrifices along the way. If you don't do it in the beginning, you're going to have to do it. I will suggest coming out the gate with making those sacrifices. So sacrifice that hairdo and go get your business registered with the state. Sacrifice that outfit and register your business with the city that you're operating in. So making those little sacrifices here and there, I like to eat, so I like to go out. Maybe you can go out one weekend, do something that you need for your business. So ultimately make those small sacrifices at the beginning so that in the end you can see the results. Sometimes I feel horrible. I sacrifice time with my babies, and that's a real life struggle for me. But they know, and they be like, Mama, we understand. We know what you're doing. And they see the progress. They see I'm not just running off, leaving them, I'm working, but they see that the sacrifices is ultimately benefiting them because I'm not doing anything that's not going to progress us more. So some sacrifices are easier than others. Some is as simple as missing a hairdo to get what you need. You set your foundation then. And study, I have this thing where I've studied the grades until I became one. And so I said that to say, so I'm an award-winning certified balloon artist. And before I became one, who's in my industry that's making that happen? And it's not a lot of us in the city. Well, I can recall, because the person who I ultimately learned from is now in Florida. Right. And she wasn't even from Chicago. She was from another state that would come in the city to teach it. And I would drive hours away, and it was in Spanish. That's just how determined I was. And I don't know anything in Spanish. So here I go, driving 2 or 3 hours away, spending sometimes $500 a day just to even make that one day happen, to learn what I need to learn, to get what I need to get. So you have to, one of my mentors told me a few years ago, get what you need. So get what you need first, so you can get what you want later. Because you'll get it if you do the work and you be consistent.
Right. Now, that was one of the things that you were saying. You said that a lot of people work off of, or they're driven by a side hustle or a hobby. And and that, from what I hear, I mean, this is something that was just in you, that the natural born business manager from preteen, basically. So this was a natural path for you to take. But a lot of people, they still, even though they have these natural abilities, they don't take stock in them. And you took it and you ran with it. So I think that's pretty awesome. Now, you are a certified award-winning balloon artist, and you have started an academy where you teach women to become entrepreneurs. Now, how did that start? How did that come about?
Okay, so the reason, I kind of want to say something to what you had just said prior to that, is that a lot of us doesn't act on our natural talent out of fear. And so we stay there, and everybody has an entrepreneur in them. It just takes for someone or something to bring it out of them. And so one of the reasons why I started the Balloon Design Academy was because I believe that the violence in the city of Chicago is a direct correlation between economics, right? And so I'm like, well, what can I do? And I'm always thinking, my friends, we always talking about what can we do? How can we help? And so one of the things that I know that I can do is that this is a sustainable business. I know by facts and on paper because I've lived it, and I have 3 babies who are in Catholic school, you know, and so I know that this is a profitable business if it's done right. There's more to just grabbing a couple of bags of balloons and blowing up some balloons, although you can do that, but there are industry standard guidelines in any industry, and because I operate according to my industry, and if I'm going to teach that to someone, I'm going to teach them how to operate according to the industry, because I want them to do it and I want them to do it right. And so if I can train other women how to operate this business as it should operate, not only do I have the experience on the balloon artist side, I am an expert in business management, right? So if they do it and they do it right, you can ultimately bring in some great income as an extra side income, or you can bring it in as a full-fledged income, right? Because I have lived this life with raising 3 babies, and I say it because we know kids expensive, especially my kids, right? So you can ultimately bring in some great income with this business, and I want to help moms or men, because I've had men in my workshops bring in more income in their families, no matter where they are at. And that's part of my way of help building the community in which I reside in, because it could be 10 balloon stores next to mine. I personally don't care, because what I know is that it's enough for everybody.
Yeah.
And people going to shop where they want to shop at, and your money isn't going to affect my money. So it's also a mindset, and me knowing that me teaching others isn't going to stop my shine, right? And so
Absolutely.
there's 200 and some million people in Chicago, and I'm an international balloon artist, right? So I'm not limited to Chicago. We're going wherever the events are going, wherever we're requested. So the bigger picture is this business for me is bigger than myself.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that you said what you're doing and your business is bigger than just the Chicago area. You're international. And I think a lot of times we kind of get into that, trying to get the local support. And you may not get local support or support from your family at all, or very little. So you definitely have to think beyond your borders, immediate borders.
Yes, I totally agree. And I talk to a lot of people, not just in my industry, but other industry. And that's a thing for them, you know, just getting past that family that don't support them. And I often tell people it's okay, because we love our families, but sometimes they just simply aren't our clients, and it's okay. Everybody aren't your clients, and once you understand that, that makes a difference in business.
Right. I love that you said, oh man, I got to be paying attention to a lot of what you said. And it takes some of the I guess, annoyance off to say your family, they just aren't your clients.
Yes, and it's okay. I still love y'all, but I know y'all not my clients, especially when you tell them some of your services, the cost of them. So you just have to understand and know who you're working with, and we're gonna still love them.
Right, exactly. That's Now you just touch on something that I see a lot of entrepreneurs talk about when they set the cost of something, and getting paid for what you're worth and the work.
Mm-hmm.
The quality that you put into your work, you have to charge accordingly.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that when you're, as far as setting the pricing and everything up?
Okay, so
I'm talking about initially when you first got started.
so initially, okay, so when I first got started, I did charge what I thought should have been correct pricing. However, the person who taught me, she sent me this email 7 times one day. And it was an industry standard price list. So the first couple of times, I was kind of busy. I didn't open it up. But after like the 7th time, like literally, it was 7 times. I always remember that. And I opened it up, and she said, here's the industry standard price list, right? And it wasn't that, and I've tried to tell other people, the same thing, and some didn't take it well. But I'm not trying to tell you around your business, but all the time I didn't know. And somebody told me, hey, here it is. And she told me immediately, right out the back, here it is. And from that day forward, I always kept the industry standard price list. I try to update when the industry standard changes. Every industry has a price list, and that's the guidelines I follow. And sometimes it depends on, now I have set my own prices, but I ultimately stick with the industry standards start-offs, And now the industry standard for a balloon arch is $450 plus tax and shipping setup. So because of some of my clients, I'm still a little low than that industry standard $450, but ultimately it costs $450 for a balloon arch in the industry right now. So that's what I would suggest for anybody starting out. Find out what your industry is charging. I know a lot of times people want to see what their competitors are charging.
Okay.
Some people are just trying to make a sale. You're trying to be profitable and sustainable, especially now during the pandemic, because you compare your prices to someone else who just want to make a few dollars. Well, ultimately, if you have babies, they need to eat no matter what. So I would recommend checking your industry standard for their prices and not your competitors.
Right. Now, how are you holding up during the pandemic? Because I follow you, and as a matter of fact, how can people follow you and request services from you? Where should they?
So you can email me, brownsugarsballoons@yahoo.com. Text or call me, 773-331-9367. You can find me on Facebook at Brown Sugars Balloon Designs and Academy. On Twitter, bsugarballoons. Instagram, bsugarsballoon Designs Academy. And LinkedIn, Iesha Trotter CBA. During this pandemic, I have been overwhelmingly busy. And somebody asked me this morning, during the pandemic, yes, it feels like. So this past week, I've literally became sick because it has been nonstop. And my daughter told me earlier, she had my phone. She said, Mom, it has not been 1 minute since I had your phone, and you have gotten 3 notifications less than a minute. And I was like, I didn't even check them then. But literally, it has been non-stop. I was just getting fussed at yesterday by Delisha, right? I get an hour sleep here, 2 hours there, maybe 3 hours there, and it's right back at it like nonstop. Like balloons has definitely taken over my life. I don't even know how. People say, how are you still going? Because sometimes you see me like you won't even tell, but literally, it's been nonstop. This pandemic has definitely changed my life for ways that I didn't even imagine. It was that first week, and first weekend, I was refunding money. By Monday, I said, no, this can't happen for the next few months, because being an entrepreneur, having 3 to 4 months of sale loss is going to be horrible, right? And so I knew I had to figure out something that will help me not be returning all those fees. And I had clients that were still paying for the events that was coming up for the next couple of months, right? So I like to contribute this to a great client base. My network is awesome. I've still been getting I picked up contracts that I spoke about last year that I was hoping to get this year, because every year I don't have New Year's resolutions. I have theme years. So my theme this year, thank you, was this is my millionaire year. Like, I'm going to reach $1 million this year, right? In sales and in business, you technically don't have to touch $1 million. You can hit 500 grand, and you're going to be you're considered the millionaire mark, right? And so I got some contracts. And so now here it goes back to that overwhelmingly outgrowing yourself, because I got contracts sitting on my desk that can take me into my multi-million-dollar year this year, right? But I don't have the capacity to fill that. And so you can have good business that is good, or you can have good business that's bad. And so if I take this contract, I have to work on getting others within the city to see that we can work together, because I got it and I'm willing to share it. It's just getting people to collectively come together to see the bigger picture, that this is bigger than all of us. Because so for me, I don't physically have it yet. It's not, but I have the ability to make this my millionaire year because I have it on paper that this is yours if you can fill the capacity, right? So the pandemic is, it has definitely took my business in a place that I've spoken into existence, but I wasn't prepared or ready for it. So it has been great for me.
And then you said too that a lot of your business has happened through word of mouth and through your networking.
Yes.
Because I was going to ask you, how do you do it? Do you advertise a particular way, or?
I don't. It's all social media. But my dad, we had this conversation. I talk to my dad a lot sometimes. Sometimes we talk for hours. So my parents has been a big support system for me during my entrepreneurial journey. And I remember being in college and I was sitting on the porch with my dad, and we was having this conversation one day, and he was telling me a story as it related to my uncle being great at what he did and what he wanted me to do. And my dad said that you want to be so great that people find you, right? So, and so I realized that happened when I was on Windy City Live, when my designs was featured on Windy City Live, and everybody was calling me during the taping. They had changed some things the day of, so I didn't physically get a chance to speak on that particular day. But when I got the phone call about doing Windy City Live, they said the producers reached out to them and was like, who's that girl who's doing them balloons over there? And so everybody was like, well, how'd you do it? How'd you get on Windy City Live? What'd you do this? I did nothing. I literally was sitting in my shop, social media marketing then, right? But somebody, the producers, somebody seen that girl who's doing them balloons over there and reached out to somebody in my network. And so I was like, that is the moment my dad was talking about. You be so great at something, then your clients are going to find you. And so ultimately, that's how I work. I just try to do my work so well. People finds me via social media, word of mouth, somebody to, and so that's all I do. I haven't paid for no advertisements. I don't put out any ads or anything. I social media market. I do my clients' events well. And that's it. There's no special hidden formula that I've done or paid for. Outside of that, I have spent tons of money in balloon design classes and workshops. I've spent as high as $350, $400 on one particular class.
Wow.
So that's the money that I've invested in, is the education of my business. And I'll probably always say those kind of.
Yeah, so basically you just invested in you and improving on what you already do. And sometimes
Yes,
really,
that's it.
well, I won't say really difficult, but a lot of times that's where we talk to people about investing in themselves, and that's where you were talking about earlier, making those sacrifices to help support your goal and your dream to get something, to attain something like, starting your own business, becoming an entrepreneur.
Yes. Yes.
So now, as far as your program goes, your classes, how do people join, or how do they sign up? And how do they sign up?
Okay, so I have a Facebook group, Designing with Brown Sugar, and I have been trying to get a class in this this month, but my schedule has been crazy, and I don't want to plan anything. And my schedule, because we do live events now, so I will take you out on a full blown event. That's always part of one of my classes at least. So we do it two ways. You can come in and you can learn the balloon design basics for a couple of $100s, or you can become a certified balloon artist. And we do hire people for events. So you can find us at Designing with Brown Sugars on Facebook. We do post updates about upcoming classes and tips about balloon artistry. It's a great space to be in. It helps build a network of other balloon designers. We do got some more stuff coming up, and I got some people working on it that I want to announce it now, but I just know that it's gonna go somewhere else. But we got some great stuff coming up in the city of Chicago for other balloon artists that we're gonna be doing a launch party for in the beginning of August. And so I'm gonna be sharing that. And so it's just to bring other artists together collectively, versus you have your team of 5 people, you have your team of 5 people. The bigger picture is we can all work together, and I'm definitely trying to do some things in the city of Chicago that has not been done with balloon artists, and it's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be really nice.
Yeah. And for anyone who hasn't seen the type of professional balloon design that she's talking about, I recommend that you go to her website and check out what she's done. She's done just outstanding work. She does outstanding work, and she's gotten some huge contracts, and that should tell you right there. She's gotten huge contracts for their balloon design. So that's no small potatoes right there. Iesha, can you like mention a couple that you've gotten?
So most recently, we all know that the NBA hosted their All-Star games in the city of Chicago, and that was a big thing, right? And so it was hot, and I got a phone call that the NBA was, no, I got an email, and I got in my price, and then it was just kind of like I didn't really know the details. A lot of times I don't see my clients physically to the day of because I have so many and I do everything online. So you only need to see me the day of your event because we process everything online. And so when I was giving you the details about the event, I was just like, oh, okay, it's a NBA All-Star game. It's like in my head, I'm thinking that somebody's having an NBA All-Star event. They want me to decorate. I'm going to, show up. I don't treat my clients any differently. And they was like, no, the NBA is hiring you directly. I said, oh, okay. It was like, wow, that was like an aha moment. Like, whoa, the NBA. And so then the future email, they just added everybody on the email. And I was like, really, really excited. I didn't get a chance to actually stay for the event because I had to fit them into my schedule. And so it was really great to work with. I end up, starting the night before, going back early that morning because I had a full schedule already. So that was one of my most recent events. Well, this year, and then a few weeks ago, I was hired to do our state's attorney daughter's graduation party. I've had some heavy hitters. I have a partnership with the YWCA Metropolitan Chicago, and you can also find me at the www.yshop.org and shopping with me. On that, I would recommend you shop with me from there. It allows me to help donate back to other women in business as part of our philanthropy program. So we do give back to community organizations that have supported us and other women in business. So we have that partnership. I've done so many events. The Chicago Bears Family Fun Fest, that was my first big event.
You said Bears Family Fun Fest?
The Chicago Bears Family Fun Fest.
Okay.
And somebody just kind of pushed me out there because I'm not a twister. I'm a pro designer. And so that was my first twisting event. And it was like hundreds and hundreds of people. But she was like, you're going to do well. And I've done that to people, right? I've done events for the White Sox, Empire. I've done a celebrity basketball game. I've had tons and tons of the Bernie Mac Foundation, NASCAR.
my gosh, you did NASCAR, girl.
Yes, the Jam TV show, Wendy C Live. It's a lot, and I'm like, I'm always gonna miss somebody, right? Um, but I've had a lot of big events, and it's been dope. It's been a journey.
Yeah, and I went to one event that the city treasurer had, um,
Mhm.
and you did the design for that too.
Yes.
So,
Yes, I've done the work with the city treasurer. I was actually on tour for her 3 out of her 4 weeks at the beginning of this year because, well, I am on the SBDC Council with the YWCA Metropolitan Chicago, and also I became an advocate for small business owners. So when there are people who's making decisions within our communities and they want to know what we need, I am like on that list of people to call now to reach out to because I am, for one, an entrepreneur. I'm still on this journey and I still need more money too, right? Although I'm getting contracts to put things in places, there's always more things that an entrepreneur needs, right? But ultimately, because I've been doing the work, people want to know what do we need? What do other entrepreneurs need? How can they help? And I'm just glad to be coming that person to say, hey, well, I'm an entrepreneur and these are other entrepreneurs and this is what they need. So it is definitely going into a space that I didn't even plan.
so I wanna back you up a little bit. Now you said that you're on the Council of Small Business Development Center.
Yes, I'm on the SBDC Council with the Metropolitan Chicago. And so that's the Small Business Development Council. I'm on the advisory board. And the YWCA helps small businesses set their foundation get funded. And they also eliminate racism and empower women. And so that's all aligns with my personal goals and beliefs. You know, I like to help people set their foundation. So a lot of times people ask me, well, I can help you. Yes, I can ultimately help you do everything you need, but you can also go to YWCA. You can take their plan for profit class, and they're going to help you set your foundation and do everything because that's what they do. And it's a great space to be in. A lot of times we think we can do what we want to do in business because we're the boss. This is our business.
Right.
You can't just do what you want to do in business. And my first relationship with the YWCA is that I wanted somebody to hold me accountable because at that point I was ready to ask for other people's money. I was trying to get funded, but I knew that there were some things I need to do. I also knew that I like to do what I want to do, right? So I was one of them people too, but I knew then that you can't really do what you want to do, but I also knew that if you got 10 other people holding you accountable, you're more than likely going to do it and make it happen. And so I wanted to ultimately sit down and write my business plan that I still haven't read, right? But I got a 2-page executive summary that's great and has gotten me tons of funding, right? But it has definitely helped me get into a space to hold myself accountable to create these lists of things that I need to do and check them off as I go. Because I know if I talk to any one of my mentors and they ask me, have you done this? You should have been and done that, right? So just having other people to hold you accountable, and we all need that. I don't think we're going to ever get to a point in any of our entrepreneurial journeys that we don't need somebody to hold us accountable, especially if we get comfortable. And I don't think you should ever get comfortable being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
That's in my opinion.
Okay. And okay, I like that. You said you should never get comfortable being an entrepreneur. You should always be looking to build
Yes.
and
Keep scaling. Keep
okay,
scaling.
keep trying reaching to move.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, I did take the program there to the plan for profit to help me develop a business plan, and I do have to say they help you hold yourself accountable, and they put you on the spot. You know, just being really shy, I had to stand up and I had to talk about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to accomplish, and to explain it and to explain why anyone would ever want to do business with me. And it is quite a challenge, but I think it's a necessary challenge. It is so important that you know what you're talking about and from the inside out, and know the reasons why you're doing something, because
Mhm.
don't I don't understand how you could possibly move forward. So
Mhm. Yes, and I agree, and I love it. I love great spaces, and I love being in great spaces. And as you're scaling, you should ultimately reach back. So you're not only scaling for yourself, you're scaling for other people. Success for me is not what I can accomplish for myself. Success for me is also what can I help other people do. And that's another reason for the Academy is because I know what this business is capable of. This is $1 billion industry. And this is just Chicago that I'm excelling in. So just imagine 50 other states and 10 other women coming along with me and their teams of people, right? It could be an amazing journey, if we collectively work together. Because you can go alone, but you can get farther together.
right.
The bigger picture is that. And that was something else. So the plan for profit, they definitely will put you on the spot because I was extremely shy. I am an introvert extrovert, right? I could talk about business and money all day long, but depending on the setting, I might not say anything right but my name. So I was pushed to speak in front of investors from the plan for profit, and I was just like, no. And my mentor, the manager at the time, they was like, yes, you're gonna do this. My friend Alicia was like, yes, you're going to do this. And it was like, yes. And since then, I've spoken to thousands of people on the stage with the YWCA. And it was just like, look, we got you. You're going to do this. And you'll be fine. And y'all for now, we speaking in front of a couple of thousands of people. Like, I know I'm shy in real life, right? But it was a great space to be in. I didn't even realize there was that many people at the next event. So I love great spaces.
Okay. Now, another thing that you do is it Motivation Mondays? Is that what it's called on Facebook Live?
It's called Monetary Mondays.
Monetary Mondays. Okay. So where did that come from?
That just came from I always say so this year I also plan on doing more lives. I'm like, I'm gonna get that. And so Monetary Monday comes from me liking talking about business and money. And so I just wanted to share with people, things that they can use in their entrepreneurial journey, tips that they can use that has worked for me, or things that I'm just knowledgeable of to help them start and grow their businesses. And and I like to say, some people and adults, we don't like for people to tell us what to do, right? Yeah. But my mentors will tell you that Iesha listens. She's where she's going now because she listens, right? And it's not that somebody is trying to tell you how to run your business, because it's ultimately the decision comes down to you. But if you take what they know and you utilize it, then it'll be great. I got some people that I follow on social media who's not in my industry, but they do business, and so I have definitely adopted some of the things that they have done, or I reached out to them about, and things I have been scared to do. Iesha, just remember your end result. Like the process, because they've been through it, is not going to be easy, but you can do it. I did some things last year and made some partnerships last year that was tedious to do, the process, but I stuck to it and I did it. And a lot of people don't know that I got a partnership with DHS, and the partnership with DHS comes from me wanting to teach more people my business and get them assistance with paying for my courses.
Okay.
Right? And so if you just like, even going back, a lot of people have been sharing the information about the SBA this week, and I've been getting a lot of text messages and things. I didn't put that out there that we received that funding in March. I put a video out there in March telling you people to go apply, right? And how can they apply? But that comes to the monetary. It was a Monetary Monday video with the SBA. How can you get this funding? Me, because I'm ultimately a business owner, that's just one investment account for my business. But so I said to say, so if you missed my videos on Monetary Money, you should go back and watch it, because I do share a lot of great information. So now here he is in June, and some people missed it in March. So yeah, they getting it in June, but you could have it in March had you listened to the video, right? So I just try to share things that I know from experience that works, things that has helped me, and things that can help others. And so my dad taught me to follow the money. And so I try to follow the money, right? And so I'm on these weekly calls with some of the people, the city treasurer every week, and some of my investors on Tuesdays. And so I know what I know. And I do know how to follow the money and to help other people. You just have to be willing to listen and know that not everybody is trying to tell you how to quote unquote run your business, but the information that people do share with you, if it's given to you freely, especially, you should definitely listen to it, because I like I said, it's people that I follow on social media, and I listen to them. I done bought a couple of books these last few weeks, just listen to people giving me free information. If you're giving me this information free, what do you got for me if I pay for it, right?
Right.
So, it's just be willing to, and don't suggest just following, taking information from everybody, but the people who you see have had proven success, who they're doing, definitely take their information and utilize it as your own, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It doesn't have to be in the balloon design industry, because I do business, period. I'm also a businesswoman, and so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's the same strategy for business. It's just business. It's business. So whatever your talent or your industry is, just take it and apply it to how it fits your situation. Because I've definitely took some real estate expert knowledge on things and related to my business, and that has helped me. That has helped me build the partnerships with like DHS and other government agencies, and they're in real estate. I'm doing balloons, so
Okay. So it's really important to pay attention, and to pay attention to those industries who have proven success.
yes.
And be willing to listen, because a lot of people, I mean, that's another downfall, not being willing to take advice from anyone. And sometimes the advice might not be something that you want to hear. It may be telling you, not to do this, but to do this, and you have your heart set on doing something a particular way, but be
Mm-hmm.
flexible, be open to change, and at least give it a chance to, follow the information, follow the advice, and you
Yes.
never know, you just have to try. So,
Yes. Yes, and I definitely agree, and especially during this time that we're in, we're in this pandemic, and so you have to be adjustable, and you definitely have to be able to pivot. So yeah, we're used to doing things this way, but we can't do things like that, because it's just not going to work, and we're going to be out of a hole. So I definitely agree with changing things around. You got to be able to adjust. And that's one of the things that has definitely helped me turn my business a whole nother way that before the pandemic, I didn't anticipate my business going this way. But we were put in a situation where you don't have a choice. You're going to make these changes to fit this circumstances, or you're going to be out of business within months. And that's just the reality of business and life. So we definitely living through the real reality. We ain't facing no other year. This is definitely the year for it. Um,
yeah, I think you're so successful because you're not narrow-minded. You think broadly, and you are looking at like the complete picture of how many different things connect. There's like, just as you said, business is business, and you just take some of the best practices from a little bit of everything, and if you can use those things and apply it to what you're doing, that would explain how you're doing so well in the middle of a pandemic.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And even in the balloon industry, last year we was recognized as having the best balloon design practices in the state of Illinois, according to our industry. And so that goes back to somebody is always watching, somebody somewhere. In the balloon industry, and I missed the award ceremony because I was running. I was in town for the events, and then I had to run. And I'm on the road, and I'm getting like 4 or 5 notifications that you recognize this, and this. But I was too late. I couldn't turn it back around though. But I didn't get any warning prior that you're going to be getting recognized. So you have to know your industry, know your industry. And not worry about anybody else. That's another reason why I'm able to teach people what I do, because their goals is different than mine.
Yeah.
They don't want to do exactly what I want to do. They got a whole different set of goals, and just knowing that it helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not to compare yourself to somebody else. And I think that's really hard for
Mhm.
people not to do.
Mm-hmm.
to look across the fence and see what they're doing and how well they're doing, and just to stay focused on the goal and just reaching back. That's real important too. That you have that where you reach back to help other people to come up with you. That's
Yeah.
really, and that's one of the things that you are taught in developing your business plan at the YWCA, the Small Business Development Center. Definitely, that's built into your plan. Um,
Nice. Nice. That's dope because we can't do it all. You know, I got potential contract with over 600 clients, right? It's physically impossible to make that happen. Like, there's no way, right? Yeah, I can strategize and make myself crazy on trying to achieve it, but it's easy for me to hire 10 companies and say, look, you're going to take these 60. We're going to break this up, right? And we all will be okay, right? So, and that's nice. It's nice, you know. It's hard to not compare. I've always been focused on myself, and it's competition out there, but I've always compared. It's funny because I always compare myself to big box stores, and about a week ago, I'm like, oh my God, here you go, because you're trying to compare yourself to big box stores, and you became a small big box in the area because nobody is open, right? And so you're the only option, and everybody in the city is calling you, right? But that's what you're getting for comparing yourself to these big box stores, right? So I had like a little funny moment, but it was like, this is your reality now, that you done worked hard and you done claimed, you know, now you're competing with them. And, you know, but it definitely helped and put things in perspective for me that if that's what you set your mind on doing, then it'll definitely happen unexpectedly. But it was good. Definitely a good. It's a good and it's a bad space. The bad part is that I literally have no time. It's like, can I eat? I have to shower. You know, I'm okay with not sleeping, but I have to eat and shower, right? And so that's the real reality of life. Is I'm working on a team. I'm working on a team because busy can be good, but it also can be it's a little tired.
yeah.
It's a little tired.
Now, that was my next question to you too, as far as building a team, because I find that that's difficult. Um, Finding people as dedicated as you are, and on top of that, you love what you do. This is not, just something that you do to make money. You actually love it, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. So for me, the money is a bonus, and that's what happens when you're doing something that you love. Yes, we want to get paid for it, but the money is a bonus. Um, One of the things that I'm doing now is that because I'm working on my team, and I do know that people will try to, I don't believe that somebody can take what you have. What
Right.
God has for you is for you, but you do have to protect your business, and you do have to protect yourself. So I do have a confidentiality agreement. Yes, you can. You sure can work for me and have your own clients, but you can't take none of my clients,
They,
right? So I have a confidentiality agreement. So everybody that I hire, moving forward, sorry, it froze.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, it froze. So I have a confidentiality agreement so that everybody that I will hire to work for me now to do balloon designs will have to sign that outside of my onboarding employee paperwork. Yes, you can work for me and you can have your own clients, but you can't take any of mine. So all of my contracts will stay mine, and so I'm just going to be protective over my business a little bit more. Only once in my 16 years I had someone to take a contract from me, right? And I definitely know that they undercut it. Because that's the only thing that I can see. But the client told me about it, and I don't even think they officially took it. I just because I don't know if they actually did the event, but my client did reach out and tell me about it. But I do have a confidentiality agreement. I also, it is hard finding people to work for me. I have my people that I have work for me now. I have been able to increase their pay and get them to be on board. I do have now I've created an employee handbook. So this pandemic has also allowed me to work in my business. So there was definitely some things that I do. So I operate my business as if I was operating somebody else's company, the things that I would be doing for them. And a lot of us are usually working in our business. We don't have a lot of time to work on our business.
Right.
I got all my paperwork together for my new employees. I got employee handbooks. Moving forward, I will be having meetings, so they will have goals and know what's expected of them beforehand and what should they be doing when they're out on a job, because ultimately I'm going to be looking forward to being able to send the crew out, and say, hey, this is your job and this is where you need to be. This is your schedule. And so I have gotten some of that things together. I got to have my employee handbooks printed, but I do have them written out. And so just doing some administrative things to make my company better. And as I'm scaling up, all the employees will know what's expected of them, especially when they get out into the field. Customer service, some things we're not talking about in front of clients. If somebody, we all want to respect each other. That's at the end of the day, and if there's a disagreement between somebody en route, y'all better hold that till y'all get back in that truck or y'all get back to the office or something, because some things you're not going to discuss around clients. And so just knowing what's expected of them and what I expect from them with my clients, and that's customer service got to be, their customer service has to be unmatched. And if I'm talking to them because I'm good at reading people, and if it's not well with me, you're not going to be able to go out in front of my clients. So I wouldn't working on who needs to stay in-house to just fill balloons, right, and who can stand out for the job. So just being able to know and recognize who's best at what is good for any employee, any employer to know about their employees.
So you definitely have to have spent time building your business so that you can be on top of all these things that you just talked about, because it definitely takes time to be able to accomplish all of these things, especially if you have a day job, and this is something that you're trying to do on the side. It's quite a task.
Yes. And so I don't often talk about it, but I have worked two jobs. I had a job, sorry, I was trying to say my phone, but I've worked my 9 to 5 with my business. I've been fortunate to work with companies who said, well, look, we know what you're doing, and we'll help you, and we'll work around your schedule. Just let us know what we need, because we need you here. And it has worked out for me, because and how I operate now is I have my business and I have my personal life, because I'm trying to do some things outside of outside my business right now for my personal life, because I have two entities and that's how I operate. So everything is done separately. I recommend that you do everything separately. That's why I recommend you make some sacrifices and get those licenses and things that you need for your business. So because you ultimately want to create two successful entities. And some of the things that I'm trying to do in my personal life is get into real estate. So right now I do have a 9 to 5, but it's overnight. And so I'm like very close to getting these property right. But I'm there doing what I do. There's some things I ain't get done in the daytime. I'm doing it at night, and sometimes, a lot of the times, more so than less, I'm coming right in, showering, getting together to go back out to an event. And so, or events, usually it's more than one. And it's just a repeating cycle. And that's how I end up, like maybe an hour sleep here, maybe 2 hours there. Because I wouldn't say just totally scratch your 9 to 5, but you can build where you operate two successful entities, and then have a 9 to 5 for savings, have that 9 to 5 for fun vacations for your kids or whatever the case, they savings account. So I'm utilizing that for them. That job is going to my kids' savings accounts, but now I know what I know. I'm working on them some investments accounts with stocks, because I don't want that money just sitting in a savings account, because it should work for them. So you just have to strategically plan and not feel like you're working for nothing. You don't see no real results, because we all know that can be horrible. I've been there. Last year was my first 6-figure year with my business, right? but I had no real access coming into 2020. I had no hard access. I worked my butt out. I didn't anticipate, I didn't expect, I didn't plan on doing six figures last year. But when I got to doing my numbers in November, I knew that that was my six-figure year. When I closed out the year, it was like, wow. It was a great feeling, but it was a worse feeling because I had no hard access, right? I would never do that again. I would never do that again. Um, but as the money coming in, it was going out. As the money coming in, it was going out because I just one of the things I did was just let my kids whatever they want, they got it, right? I was like, no, we can't do that this year. Well, we can do it, but we're not doing it like that. We're gonna leave the business where the business is at, and we're gonna have this income for that, so the business can see all of its earnings, right? So that's another. That's how we want to utilize our 9 to 5, not only our business, but for our personal things and kids or whatever else we want to use. And so, the business is okay. Um, but I learned, I knew what I messed up at last year, and I knew I couldn't do that. If I want to be working constantly on my business and in my business, I need to have them completely separate.
Okay. And that's real important that you said that. Very, very, very important. Because I remember in class, we talked about that a lot, to set the business account or even everything that you pay for, let that come out of your business account. Don't mix your personal income with business income. That can be a huge mistake. So for a whole bunch of reasons, and a lot of you just said.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you share quite a lot with us, and I truly appreciate it. Um, so, you have any last minute things? I know I'm going to ask you some other things off the show anyway, because I found out that you have all this information, and you're doing all these things, and I know that you and Delisha are like two dynamos. I already go to her for a whole lot of advice, and now I know I can come to you too.
Yes, absolutely. One of the other things I want to share that I think is a chance to mention is because um, we don't teach our children in our community how to. We are taught to. The more you earn, the more you learn. Go to college, get a job, and that's it, right? But in my experience, I know that you can become an entrepreneur. I'm from Inglewood, right? I like to say that great things come from Inglewood. I went to Dunbar Advocacy and Career Academy. Barbara Morris was my college, but ultimately from the South Side Chicago girl in the hood, right? A lot of people likes to pull out the negative from my community, and I know that there's great things, not only because I have a business here and I'm staying here, right? I'm witnessing the change. I know there's a lot of positive things that comes from Inglewood, and there's greatness that comes out of Inglewood, right? That's a whole nother Inglewood pride when you doing well and you're in Inglewood, because I know what can conspire from being an Inglewood chick. I am working on, well, I have started a business. I ultimately had started for my nephews and my son to run community tees by the East of Chicago. And that way I can hire you. So when you place your order with me for t-shirts, whichever one of them, whoever is making the t-shirts, they get a percentage per t-shirt that they make as they earning. My nephew last week, he did pretty well in 2 days for he made probably a whole week's checks for somebody in 2 days making t-shirts, how the orders was coming. So we're looking to hire more youth and give them opportunity to make some money, keep them out of trouble and off the streets. So some t-shirt sale days is going to be a fundraiser. Some t-shirt sale days are going to be just this for they can make their t-shirts and they can sell them. So we're working that out. So last week was a fundraiser because we're working on Brown Sugar's Balloon Designs. Brown Sugar's Youth Entrepreneur Academy, where we will be teaching, we will be teaching youth ages 5 to 24 how to start and operate their own businesses. And then from there, we're going to, when they need more help at their growth stage, we're going to send them to some of our partners to continue to help them, like the YWCA and some of the other organizations that we have who have programs in place for adults already. But we want to teach them, we want to get them young, we want to cultivate them, get their ideas from concept to conception and help them learn start their entrepreneurial journey. So we ultimately want to put that in their head. Not only can you be anything that you want to be, you can own any company that you want to own. So at 5, you might want to do water bottles. At 20, you might want to do something else, but the foundation and the concept will be already built into them. And so we're just in the fundraising stages of trying to help. I found the building, so we're just trying to secure the building, get it remodeled, and that's something that I'm more excited about than anything. And so,
Okay, so you call it Brown Sugars. Say it again.
Youth Entrepreneurial Academy.
Oh, wow.
So we're gonna be all things, teach all things entrepreneurship from the babies
From 5
until.
to 4. Okay. So, well, we'll be watching for that. We'll be watching for that because, well, you'll tell us how people can reach out and the kids can become, involved. So,
Yes, and so we're gonna do a family fun day. The weekend is gonna be the third weekend in July. I'm gonna put the date out for that, and so that's gonna be a fundraiser where you can bring your families, and it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be bounce houses, probably water, some things. I'm putting it together now strategically, but we're gonna be doing a series of fundraisers to help fund this project. And so, yes.
okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and talk with me. And as I said, I've learned so much, and I know a lot of people listening have too. And I recommend that you guys check out her work. And once you see what she does, you're going to definitely want to hire her to do something for you. And before we go too, I just want to mention that tomorrow, um, Girls in the Hood and This Is Life is going to be doing they're presenting Gone But Not Forgotten. It's a tribute to Black women and girls killed by violence, and it's going to be they're bringing letters for demanding for charges to be brought against the officers who murdered Breonna Taylor, and we've seen updates that has happened as of yesterday. And we also want to come together just to bring attention to women who have experienced violence, even to the point of being killed in violent, relationships, or however they came in met with violence. And then a lot of women who are survivors of violent relationships or just violence, period. So we'll be coming together tomorrow. I believe it's from 3 to 5. And that will be, one second, let me look. And that will be by the Salvation Army location at 745 West 69th Street in the parking lot. And a lot of us will be over there tomorrow. So if you can come out and support Girls in the Hood and This Is Life, they're coming together for that particular event. All right, everybody. That is going to be it for us here at Shypanther and Friends. And you guys know that we are still at the end, hopefully, of this pandemic, but we're hearing about surrounding states that their numbers are going up. So we still have to do what we need to do to be safe and to stay healthy as much as we can. And I'd just like to ask you to please support us, follow us. Shypanther Media Group.org is my website, and reach out to the show, shypanthermedia@gmail.com. We're here most Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you are a nonprofit or you have something that you're doing and you need a platform, please reach out to me at shypanthermediagroup@gmail.com, and we can talk and see what we can do. All right, now I just thank you again for taking the time out with me here, and God bless you, and take care of yourselves, take care of your neighbor. And Iesha, thank you and much success.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you too. All right, I'll talk to you later. So be looking for a direct message from me.
Okay, no problem.
All right, good night.
Night.